Hey y'all, happy Monday. Good morning. So we are streaming a little different this morning. I'm trying something new. So everybody everywhere, you'll have to give me your feedback. Instagram, I know you can't um push this over, but I'm looking at you and I feel like you look good. TikTok, you look good. If you're in the building, go ahead, start dropping some hearts on the screen so I know that you are here. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so excited to be here with you all. How was you all's weekend? How was your stinking weekend? Today, we're going to be continuing our conversation in business. Last week, we started this whole conversation around some very basic business building fundamentals. So, today, we want to continue these conversations, but we're going to go and transition into some higher level thinking. Last week, we talked about all the structural stuff, how to get your business set up in the right type of formation, whether that be a single member sole proprietor or a sole proprietorship, a single member LLC, multiple member LLC, corporation, all that good stuff. We talked about finances, we talked about bank accounts, all that good stuff. So if you had not had an opportunity to watch those videos, I would encourage you to go back and catch them. You can catch them over on YouTube on my channel, Biz Chat with Kae. But today I want to start having a little deeper conversation. Good morning, Greta. Today I want to start having a little bit of a different type of conversation because once we get all of the basic stuff set up as creatives, we can move into actually making money. And when we started this conversation, I told you guys that as a creative entrepreneur myself, my whole goal for us is to help us create systems in our business that don't just rely on social media, right? Like, I want us to operate as a business. I want us to do things um what is the word I'm looking for? I want us to do things that are going to create longevity for us and not get caught up on the internet. So I'm an influencer myself. If you've never met me before, my name is Kae Whitaker. You can learn more about me over at Home with Kay. I offer interior design services. I do influencer marketing. I do UGC content creation, but I also run a marketing agency that specializes in business automation for creative entrepreneurs. I've been on the internet since like 2013. Okay, y'all. I was on the internet when we were blogging on WordPress.com. So I've been here for a long, 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 long time. Long, 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 long time. I've been around the block a few times and I have seen it all. Okay. So while I don't create as much content like on platforms like TikTok, we specialize in YouTube and Instagram marketing and email marketing. One of the things that I know to be true is that you can't just put all of your eggs in one basket. Like, at any time, especially dealing with social media, it's finicky and things can happen. If you are a TikTok creator, you know, just weeks ago, and we got a looming another deadline coming up at the top of the month where we may not be able to use the platform. Whether it comes or goes, you as a creative should still have opportunities to be able to earn an income that supports your family without having to go into this deep depression because you got to figure out, or having to be reactive because you got to figure out what to do. So today I want to talk about something that's a little bit more traditional in nature for creatives. And if you are an influencer, say you're an affiliate marketer and stuff like that, I want to start to trigger some thoughts in your mind about how you can add some layers to your business, only if you're open to it, right? I know this is not everybody's thing, but if you are looking to not have to clock in at a 9 to 5 and be able to sustain yourself, I want to introduce some ideas to you this week that will help you start to think about how you can multi stream yourself as far as revenue is concerned, so that you're not just dependent on a single platform in order to make your income. Does that sound good? Hearts on the screen if that sounds good. And I'm trying TikTok. I'm watching you turn to the side. There we go. I think I'm going to do it that way so I can see your comments. All right. So here we go. So one of the ways that you can diversify your income streams, that's the good word I'm looking for. One of the ways that you can diversify your income stream is by adding services to your business. And when I say services, I'm talking if you are an influencer and you're using like social media to do like affiliate marketing, you can add services like influencer marketing, like UGC content creation. You can add services like coaching other people on how to do this in their business. You can add services like social media management. There's a whole gamut of things that you can do. But when we're talking about services, it means that your company, now that you're formed correctly, your LLC can now go to either another business, which is what's most common in this industry, like as a UGC creator, as a service, instead of me having to rely on social media, especially in times where I just ain't feeling it. Sometimes, Instagram is just not where I feel like being, but that doesn't mean that I don't like to create content. I can create packages and offerings and approach companies that I would want to work for and use their products in my own personal life and say, hey, I'm willing to create content in this type of way for you in this packaging. So, one of the first things that I like to encourage us influencers is when we come into this space is not only to rely just on our own social presence. There used to be a time where I was like, we don't need to do anything else. But in the climate that we're in now, where social media can come and go, and your reach, your impressions can come and go, your ability to be able to reach your audience can come and go. One of the things that I like to help people diversify with is saying, okay, instead of just relying on your social presence, why not take that same skill that you already use, that you love making content for social media, and package it where you can approach other companies, other brands, and say, hey, I can do this for your company for a price. Okay. One of the ways that you want to set that up is that you can have like tiered service offerings where you can say, I've got package one, package two, package three. And in these packages, they can offer different things. I'll give an example of what that looks like as a UGC, or you might even hear CGC, content creator, content generator creator, something like that. But one of the things that we like to do is say, okay, if we're going to create content around this table for you, right? There's a couple of ways that we can do this. Package one might be where I only create it for my social platforms where it's organic only. Okay. You give us a table, you pay us a small fee, we post it on our social platforms. You, as the company, don't get the rights to then use that on your own platforms or whatever the case may be. It's us, it's organic only. We're responsible for posting it on our social platforms only. You won't post it, you won't repost it on yours. There's no advertising rights, nothing, right? That's package one. Usually I try to thinking like good, better, best, right? Package one would be a good deal, right? Especially if you're a creator that has a good audience, organic if you're feeling it, okay. But for me, I kind of like to lean in like the better and best sides where I'm like, okay, well, package two would mean, yes, I would create it for organic posting, but I would also create some additional content that you could use on your platforms. Say there might be short form videos, especially now because short form video is the thing, right? So I may create some short form videos and offer them in a package that says, okay, you can have two short form videos to post organically on your social platforms. Um, in addition to being able to post organically on your social platforms, and this is very basic, guys. This is by no means the end all be all, but I'm just giving you an example of what that looks like, right? In addition to being able to post on your social platforms, I'll grant you advertising rights for a specific amount of times where you can run those ads through my social channels, meaning I'll give you advertising permissions via Facebook Business Manager for you to be able to run through Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok. Or if they say, hey, we don't, that's called whitelisting. We don't want to whitelist it. We want to run it on our own channels. Then that's a different fee for a different amount of time. I like to go with the whitelisting because you can set reminders and automation. Remember, we are always going to tie this back to automation. You can set reminders and automation to communicate with the companies when licensing is about to expire on whether or not they want to renew or whether or not their contract is going to end. So it allows you to kind of control it better. And if in the event that the contract ends, then you can just simply go into your business manager and remove their access and be good to go, right? All of these things can be automated as reminders in the background, but we're just talking about packaging, right? And then I might say, that's the better package, right? But in the best package, I might say, okay, I'm going to post organically on my platforms. I'm going to provide you some content to run, and you can then run ads through that content on my own platforms. But then I'm also going to provide you some content that you can use on your own platforms without having to worry about me for a specific amount of time. Always with licensing, nothing is forever, right? There's always with a certain amount of time. Now, in doing this, I might say, hey, I'll give you two hooks, two CTAs, meaning I'll create different pieces of content to kind of sandwich into these short form videos to give them different options. Of course, charging for each one of those elements, of course, charging for the licensing, all of that. This is just big picture overview, right? In the K Club, the vault, I will go into detail with this when the time comes, but I'm just trying, for the sake of time, to keep this party moving. This is like packaging, right? This is what packaging looks like as an influencer that is looking to, or even as a content creator. You don't even have to be an influencer. Some people ask me, I like to create content, but I can't seem to grow my audiences. No problem. If you like content, let's put a portfolio together to showcase what you can do. And then let's put some packaging behind it and start reaching out to people that you want to work with. Okay. I do a lot of pitching, I do a lot of client outreach. I don't wait on people to find me. I am always going to look for business. Okay. So, because of that, I have those tiered service offerings that I can start with, that allow me to say, hey, here's my portfolio. Here's what I'm able to do. Here's some examples. And then my social platforms act more as a portfolio versus a performance driver for whatever I'm doing. Now, I personally have a portfolio on my website where I showcase my best work. But if people want to see examples of what that looks like in real time or more recent examples of work, I can always send them to my YouTube channels, both the gardening and the home decor channel. And I can send them over to Instagram for them to see as well. Specifically, if it's something that's industry aligned, I can go find something that I've created for somebody else in that niche and give them an example of what that looks like. Okay. Once I have those tiered service offerings in place as a service provider, you could also do um, value, like value based pricing. This is a little tricky though. Okay. I like to do tiered service offerings based off of packaging because you can itemize that and it's easier to calculate, right? With value based pricing, you can say based off of these results, I'm going to charge you this with the anticipation that it's going to do this. Now, for me, I don't personally like that approach because you can't really guarantee results. You can guarantee product and what that product is going to look like, what that service is going to look like, but how it's going to perform. There's so many factors when it comes to performance that you can't promise. You can know what's trending, you can know what most people are responding to, but to guarantee a value or to guarantee an outcome based off of something that you created is unrealistic and it can lead to sticky waters. So, a lot of the mistakes that I see a lot of us content creators making is, oh, I reach 2 million people and I'm going to charge this because my reach is this. Well, your reach collectively is that, but that doesn't mean that this single piece of content that you're going to create for this company is going to be able to perform like that. You don't know how your audience is going to respond. I don't know how you all are going to respond to something, right? I can assume based off of past history, but I don't know what the response is going to look like until I actually post the content. If I'm talking organic content, right? I can say that my audience is comprised of this. Now, the value when it comes to pricing in this way is saying, I know who my audience is. And this is going to mean that you have to do research and be analytical and really pay attention to details. I know who my audience is. I know where they are based on past performance. I know how they shop. And if I'm doing value based, like if the client, and this is going to be determined on the client, if I'm talking to someone based off of the value of my social audience, I'm saying, okay, I know that I have an audience of people that fall between this bracket as far as income, race, gender, location, and buying habits. And I can say that because I have history and where we are. Everybody can't say that because you may not have the history or the track record in understanding what their buying habits are. I personally, when I post content, I am posting that content with the link that is trackable for both myself and the brand because I want to know, first of all, who's clicking through. I don't know exactly who's clicking through, but I want to know how this content performed to drive clicks. And out of the people that clicked on that content, how many of them converted? And I can't guarantee conversions because I just don't know until that content is there. But I can say on past history, based on the things that I've been able to do in the past, here are some factors that I have been able to see that people have been able to do. Like, here's some conversion numbers from past history. I can do that, but I try not to guarantee, if that makes sense. So we guarantee based off of our past history, or we build value based off of our past history, but we never guarantee what the company is going to get from it because we just don't know. but past behaviors can determine future outcomes. We know that. So sometimes that's good. And depending on what the brand's goals are, sometimes their goals are just getting in front of people, sometimes their goals are sales, and then sometimes their goals are just having somebody else to create the content, which is the beauty in this UGC world, is just having somebody else to go through the trouble of creating the content and them not having to wrangle up the photographers, the creator, the editing, all that good stuff. All of those responsibilities fall on us, the people that like to do it. And all they have to do, excuse me, is supply product and wait on content to come back that they know they're going to like based off of your past history and be able to use it in their advertising. That's a win for them. So I kind of stick to tiered service offerings because I like to make sure that I can make things as easy as possible for a brand to respond to. And value based pricing is a little bit more difficult if you don't have an audience that you can go back and do all of that measuring and automation and stuff like that. Okay. And then when you're dealing with services like this in this manner, you want to go back and look at how you can automate this process. So I always have something to tie in, right? So yes, let's use our tiered service offerings example as an example for automation, okay? So I have a client that has went with my best package where I am going to create some organic content for them to post on my channels. In addition to that, I'm gonna create some additional short form videos that are gonna include 2 hooks, 2 CTAs, and I'm gonna license this to them for 6 months. Okay? Let's just say that's the package. Well, once that content has gone live, that's when licensing start because it's posted. So on my end, in my CRM, not only am I going to bill, but I'm going to apply a tag to this contact record and I'm going to have some emails in place already designed. I have emails and custom fields in place, and we can talk a lot about this when we get to our CRM. But I'm going to have some emails and custom fields in place that are going to first address the customer by name, of course, but then I'm also going to reference the campaign that we've written or created for them. I'm going to reference the start dates and the end dates. And I'm going to have emails that are going to automatically go out to this brand manager or contact to say, hey, contact, table manager. Our time is coming up, about 6 months ago or about 5 months ago, because I'm sending this out in 30 days. About 5 months ago, we created some content for you. We licensed it for 6 months. I hope you've been enjoying it. I've been seeing the ads. They've been doing so great. Boom, 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 boom. Right. And this is all structured and written in a way where it's very organic, it's very real, but you're not having to spend your time doing it. And this is going out automatically for you. In about 30 days, this content is going to expire. So I'm gonna, be removing you all from white label privileges in my Facebook and business manager, but I wanted to reach out and see if there was an additional need to license it further. You know, I've done this with the company and that licensing kept extending for like almost 3 years. And it was because I kept following up, kept following up. But I was also able to look at data and say, hey, I see the ad is performing. This is doing this. And I'm just dropping this information as I'm seeing it into these custom fields. And the email is pulling together over time for me and automatically sending it out. Then the client responds and says, yes, we want a license for an additional 6 months. We bill, boom, we've made money. Now I don't have to work on as many deals. I don't have to create as much. I can just follow it to renew licensing, which moves me into my fourth point is being sure that you understand the capacity when you're offering a service of how many people you can service at one time, right? As a UGC creator, it's a little different because once we create the content, it's not like they're on retainer. Now, you can have some retainer packages. I didn't want to get too deep into what that looks like. You can have some retainer packages, which I think would be more of a best offering. But you need to see how many people you can work with. How much time do you have to be able to create different content for different people? What else are you doing in your business? Are you coaching? Are you working? Um, are you creating content for your own channels? Like, what else is going on? And you need to be able to measure how much time you have in order to be able to know how many people you can take on at one time. Um, I can tell you that content creation is a blast. Like, I love it, but you also have to be realistic because when you're creating high level content that brands actually want to pay thousands of dollars for, it takes a lot. It takes grooming, it takes wardrobe, it takes styling, it takes staging, it takes coordination, and that is time consuming. It's not just putting the camera up and shooting a couple of pictures. Like, you got to have angles and lighting, and if it's lifestyle driven, weather, all this stuff. There are so many things that come into account, and you need to be able to know, based off of how you deliver your content and how you produce your content, how many people at one time you're able to do that for. I give you an example. When I first started out as an influencer, I was going through all of these influencer networks, getting hired by all of these networks that were paying like small budgets. I'm talking like $1,000 for videos, pictures, all that good stuff, right? And they were coming in back to back because I was on the networks, I was producing the content, I was able to turn it around. But that led to burnout quick because going through those networks, you get smaller budgets, more work, less time to do anything else. And y'all, I am a content creator, but I also run a business like, I have a whole company over here that I have to run, that has staff, that has clients that I have to have meetings with. Like, I have to be realistic about what I can take on. And I had to change the way I offered the service as a content creator to make sure that, one, I was earning what I was due. Two, I was able to earn in a way that was satisfactory to me. I could deliver content, and then I can actually forecast what my content was going to do, especially in that last part in licensing. And we'll talk a lot about licensing, in future videos. But understanding my capacity helped me also understand my pricing and helped me understand how many people I needed to have in place in order to hit my revenue goals. Okay. So after we've got all the details of the contracts and stuff going on, and what I'm talking about is UGC creation, but this can be applied to anything. Something similar is what, and I'll tell you, I'll be honest, I stole my UGC pricing process, and set up from my automation services. Like, in my automation services, we have good, better, and best practices. We have project based, and then we have retainer based. And then all of the automation and stuff, I just switched it over for my onboarding, where if I was onboarding the actual client, and a lot of times in this environment, I get a little bit more control. I just stole some of those processes that I was doing in my business automation company and moved them over to the content creation. So, one of the things that I like to do once I get contracts under wrap is like onboarding. And with onboarding, I like that to be automated. So, even if it's a content creation campaign, I have automation campaigns in place for onboarding that welcome the client, kind of lay out expectations and what I'm going to be doing, timing and what they can expect from me, and when they can expect to hear from me. As a content creator, this is really important. I know it's really different. I know we are like in email land all the time, but that's not the world I live in. It's just not how my brain functions. So I operate a little bit different, just because, from a professionalism standpoint, I got to make sure that things are in one place. I can see them, and I am communicating in a way that is helpful for everybody involved. Email bogs me down, right? But if I can get you if I have control over it, and I'm saying this as a very big if, right? Because as an influencer, I understand that when you get hired, you are under somebody else's onboarding process. But if I have control over it, there's automated onboarding that I put in place after contracts are signed, after content is created and delivered for review, and after I have been waiting on approval for a specific amount of time. Okay. And I put these things in place because I don't want stuff to fall behind. Like, I want to keep things on track because, again, if I'm going back to what we just talked about, I have a certain capacity, and I want to maintain deadlines so that I can maintain my bandwidth and continue to bring on clients. Because I may have clients in the pipeline that I've told that I can't start your work until X time. And that is because that is allowing me time to complete work and be able to free myself so that I have the capacity to be able to offer the service in the best light possible, in the highest efficiency possible. And if I have too many people at one time, or if you have too many people at one time, that leaves room for errors, that leaves room for overwhelm, that leaves room for your delivery not to be as efficient or not to be as high quality. And it's just not what we want. So I have these automations in place based on timing because I want to maintain the timeline. I want to maintain the cash flow and I want to be able to finish out, especially if it's just project based. I want to be able to finish out that project in the time it is supposed to be finished out so I can start the next project. I'm pipelining my business so I know when deposits are going to be made or I know when final payments are going to be made, so on and so forth. So I'm automating all of this, but I'm also looking at this weekly to see where stuff is. Okay. In this automation, we have email communications that are clearly articulating what's happening at each one of these steps. In order for this to happen, you have to be strong in project management, which project management is something that we'll address in a later video because that's something completely different. We're just talking about offering the service right now and helping you diversify as a creator, right? But I have emails in place that are specific to each stage of this process. And it's because that part of my business is systemized and nothing changes. I know that's hard for creatives, but I do the same thing every time. Outside of creating the content, which is, of course, unique for each and every company, the delivery, the process that I go through to deliver it is the same each and every time because I don't want errors. I know that my process delivers high quality, and if you trust yourself and you trust your process, then you can guarantee the experience, okay? So, I have worked enough in this to say, "Okay, this is the process, this is how I work, this is where I'm gonna be at this stage," and I do it the same way each and every time so that I can explain the expectations each and every time. I can guarantee what's going to happen at each stage because it is the same each and every time, right? Once I've shot, I've edited, and I've delivered for drafts, I know that I have a certain amount of time that I am setting aside for expectations. And we've had this conversation up front before we ever got to contract that says, okay, once the drafts are delivered, I want feedback in this amount of time. And we agree on it between myself and the brands. We agree on that so that if that feedback hadn't come out, there's email automations going back to say, hey, we hadn't received your feedback yet. And if we get a reply and there's feedback, it stops the communication, right? But I'm pushing this train through my automation again because I only have a certain amount of people that I can work with at a time. And I need to keep cash flow moving. Now, I'm using this example as a content creator, but if you're like an interior designer, think about how you can work with this in your business. If you are like a coach and you're offering one on one services, or you're a consultant and you're offering a service, think about how you can systemize this and structure this, structure your processes so that you know there's stage work. And at each stage, there are certain things that are supposed to be happening within a certain amount of time. And if these things aren't happening, there's follow up in place to ensure that they are happening. Now you're out having fun, creating your content, being an influencer, right? I'm out on YouTube in these streets creating my long form videos, throwing out affiliate links like hotcakes, right? Having a good time. But I also have things in the background working on my behalf, helping me secure more of the bag that doesn't have anything to do with me being on social media. Because up until now, I might post this organically, I may not. Just depends on the contract. Are y'all following me? I know we're talking just on services today, but this is like part one of the conversation. Okay. Some of the things that you want to have in your automation workflows, we talked about that. Templates, if there's templates, content creators, this is a little bit difficult because we're not creating templates to deliver to somebody. And maybe you are. Maybe you have a CTA and a hook template that you use all the time that works. Maybe you do. Maybe you can drop that in there. I know for me, it's a little different because we try to make ours unique to what the campaign is. But for somebody that's offering like business coaching or consulting, or you're offering design services, if there's a particular template that you need to offer at a particular stage, making sure that that's there and it's customizable based off of not your input right now, but input somewhere along the line during the project. We call those custom fields in a CRM. Okay. Making sure that there's quality control in place. So automation is what you've told the technology to do for you, right? But it's still technology. It's still technology. And all technology has the ability to run into its issues. So even though we are automating this, we are trusting but verifying each and every week that things are running the way that they're supposed to run, and that communications have been out the way they're supposed to have been out, and people are responding. So we're looking at reports, we're doing all the things to ensure that this process is actually working for us the way we've designed it to work for. Okay. And then beyond that, it is making sure that once you have a response, you hit the response too. Okay. So let's go back and recap real quick because I know we discussed a lot and I know this conversation went into some business stuff too. But today, in part one of this diversifying your revenue streams as the creative entrepreneurs, we're talking specifically about how to add a service into your business model. Okay. For those of us, and remember, we had this whole conversation because I've seen so many content creators out here on the streets only using social media, but not having anything else behind them. And if something happens with social media, it's the fallout, right? So today we're discussing how to add services into your business model so that you're not just dependent on social media, but you actually have a way to maintain your income beyond what's happening, say, on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever, right? So I'm using today as an example myself as a content creator. Now, as I'm talking through this, if you're not a content creator, say you offer an actual service and you're trying to figure out how to ensure that that service is set up in a way that is diversified. Today, we're talking about services, okay, as a content creator. So, as a content creator, I offer UGC services. I offer services to other companies where I can create content for them, not only just as an influencer posting on my channels, but I can create a variety of pieces of content for them to use in their own channels, right? Or in combination between mine and theirs, right? So, as a UGC content creator, I have tiered service offerings. Okay. In my tiered service offerings, and you're just going to take UGC content creator and change the name to whoever you are. In my tiered service offerings, we offer a good, better, best approach. Okay. Good meaning it's the bottom of the line, it's the bare minimum that it would take in order to work for us. Best is where a lot of times people usually fall. And then better usually requires a little bit more time from us. Okay. So, an example of what a good package might look for us as a UGC content creator is I might just reach out to a brand and have these options available to them and be like, hey, if you want to work with us, here's your options. The good option is that we create content in exchange for money and product just for our social platforms. We'll create a long form video. We'll create a short form video to post on our channels with no variety. We'll post one on YouTube, and then we'll have a TikTok and an Instagram and Facebook reel and Pinterest a video post to support that YouTube video, driving all the traffic back to YouTube. And from YouTube, we'll list you in the description, the title, hashtags, pin the comment with the link. Boom. That's package one. Okay. That's good. But that leaves me as depending on social media in order for this campaign to have success. That package usually works for folks that just need some visibility or don't have a big budget, right? This package is for the money strapped client. Money strapped client or a client that, and I'm not going to like hate on myself, like we drive results on my YouTube channel. Okay. Let me just be clear about that. But This person is only interested in what my social platforms can do, and they don't have a large budget to do anything else, right? They got the bare minimum, and this is all that they can do. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. If this is all that you can do, because I pitch, because I go out and actively look for campaigns that would work for me, my audience, for you that are watching. Because I'm actively doing that, I'm okay with offering a good package because everybody's going to win. My audience is going to like it. The brand's going to like it. I'm going to have fun with it. It's going to be good, right? But it's just good. It's only dependent on me. Now, if we want to step up a little bit, I might say, okay, brand, in addition to this content that I'm creating for myself to post organically, I will add you as a collaborator or give you whitelisting privileges to the short form videos where you can then run your own ad campaigns through my social channels, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. And you can be responsible for whatever ad budget you want to run to this content that I'm creating. This is nothing additional. I'm not creating any other levels of content. This is just the same content. You got whitelisting privileges for this for X amount of time. And the company might say, hey, I love that. Cool. How much is it to whitelisting? It's X amount for X amount of time. All right, cool. Sign us up for that package. That's the better package, right? But then the best package might say, okay, brand, I'm going to not only create the content organically for me, I am also going to create some content for you, right? I am going to create everything that I'm going to post on my own channels, or I may not even have to post on my channels in the best package or in the better, good, better. So we're at best. I'm sorry. So the last one was better. In the best package, I might just say, hey, this content's just for you, child. You can do it however you want to do it. Have fun with it. The sky's the limit. But here's what I'm going to deliver to you. I'm going to deliver 2 short form videos at X amount of length. They're going to come with 2 hooks, 2 CTAs. These are interchangeable with the short form videos. You can place whatever hook with whatever video with whatever CTA. It's all going to work together. From there, I will allow you to run the ads through my ads manager without me having to post your ad budget. You can do whatever you want to, and you can license it for however long, right? I don't have to post organically. This is all for you. Or you can run it through your own platforms. It's up to you, however you want to do it. A lot of folks like to white label or whitelist because the story looks organic, which I like it too. It's very beneficial to us as content creators to have brands whitelist, especially if they know what they're doing, because it allows our audience to grow. People ask me how my Instagram grew like it did, whitelisting. I was allowing brands to run the ads. It was finding audiences because I was already creating that other type of content because I was strategic in the campaigns that I was going after. It was finding audiences that were going to be relative to what I was already creating, allowing my audience to grow without me having to do a lot of the work, which then drove my engagement up on my organic content. Just it's a whole thing, right? So most brands will do whitelisting because it's a lot more organic in nature and it's a lot more, it's higher converting. And then I like the whitelisting because I can actually see how many people the ads are reaching and stuff like that, and use that for future case studies and stuff like that. And then boom, they go out, we create the content, we deliver it for our draft reviews. There's a certain amount of time. We're talking about automation now. There's a certain amount of time that we give for draft reviews that both us and the brand agree on. If that feedback hadn't come back, we're automatically following up to say, hey, we're still waiting on the feedback. Once we get the feedback, whatever changes need to be made, if any, we make those changes and then deliver the final product. Once the final product is delivered, we hit bill and we bill the client pays, they do their thing, and it's all good, right? That's the service part. And now, if say TikTok actually goes away in April, that's okay. I'm not even a TikTok creator. I'm a TikTok creator, but I'm not like a TikTok influencer. But if it goes away, or say Instagram goes down for a day, it's no big deal because I'm still working on the service part of my business and I'm not relying on me having to post organically in order to reach the audience that I'm looking for. Now, this can be translated into any company, any company. I'm using my content creation business as an example, but it's the same thing for you. Say you're looking to work with design clients. Your business don't have to be stuck to social media. You just need a place for portfolio to be able to show off your stuff. You need to know how to pitch and how to position yourself, right? So services is the first type of revenue stream that you can implement into your business. Does it require you? Yes. Does it require more of you? Yes. Does it require some one-on-one time? Absolutely. But in most cases for services, you can charge more because it is so custom and it is so you, and you can determine what your capacity is so that you can have a block of your revenue coming in from services, a block coming in through things that we're going to talk about like tomorrow and later, like digital products and affiliate marketing, stuff like that. And now you have a balanced income stream versus everything just depending on you posting organically on social media in order to drive revenue. Is social media good? Yes. Do we love it? Absolutely. But we want to be positioned, we want to be structured so that if something happens, we are not completely dependent on it. Okay. So, services, write that down, bookmark it. If it ain't for you, I get it. I understand. But um, if you could find a way to incorporate it, I would definitely do so because it's definitely something that can help you when you are not having the type of audience engagement or interaction that you want from the internet. Okay. So, services, that's part one. Now, last week we started business structure. That's all done. The replays are up on YouTube. Today's replay is going to be up on YouTube. We're going to take it down on Facebook when we're done. Instagram, TikTok, you have to catch the replays if you want to see them over on YouTube. But if you're like, yo, I want the additional resources in the K Club. Last week I was calling it a vault, but it's called the K Club. That's the official name of the program. The official name of the program is K Club, but it's a vault basically where all of these conversations live with additional resources. Last week we went in. There's a quiz inside of the vault that is there and available to you all to help you determine what type of business structure you should have in place. And there's also a checklist that's designed for you all that at each level for each type of business structure we talked about that is available to you to make sure that you have done everything that you need to do in order to be set up properly. Like if you're like, well, I don't know which one I need to do, go take the quiz and the quiz will tell you which one you should do. And then from there, the checklist will guide you in teaching you what to do. Okay. We're also going to come back into there and add some introductory stuff into the CRM. I don't know that we're there yet. I kind of want to talk about this business structure stuff first. Then we'll be having some pre-streamed content going out next week because it's spring break. So I won't actually be live, but I'll be live. But that information and those resources will be there as well. So today we talked about services. At the end of the week, we will have talked about so many different types of revenue streams that they will be all nicely documented for you in a nice little download for you to be able to have and access at your leisure, for you to be able to implement into your business. What I am trying to do is make like checklists. And then once those checklists are created, then be able to do like video demonstrations on how to get these things done. Right. Last week was business structure. It's not really a whole lot of demonstration on that. But this week, like if we're talking services in the in the K Club, I'm going to come back and show you, here's my service. I'm going to give you some examples of how, like a one sheeter and how I present my offerings. All of that stuff will be listed in the vault. Okay. Every week, we got a couple of resources that'll be in there to accompany the conversations that we're having. And right now, we're running a special in the vault where if you join the vault between now and the end of March, you can get access to the vault for only $7 a month. After March is gone, child, that number is going to go up because there's going to be so much stuff over there that I just would not be able to maintain the program at $7 a month. But for right now, it's $7 a month and you can get access to it. If you want to join the vault, you can do so by either scanning this QR code or taking a screenshot of it, especially like if you're on places like Instagram and TikTok. I'm gonna actually make this bigger for you. You can scan this QR code or take a screenshot of it and send it to yourself in email format and then scan it from your phone that way. Or if you're on Facebook and YouTube, the link to join is down in the description. Okay. All right. Whoo, child. We talked about a lot today. What else we got going on? So now I'm about to go out. I got new roses. Those are going out today as soon as we hop off. I gotta go get blood work done for a campaign. Like, there's so much going on. It's a lot going on. But I will be documenting all of that over in the stories and the Instagram stories so you can keep up with that all the time. Be sure, if you're not already, to make sure you are subscribed, friend. Be sure to subscribe on places like Facebook and YouTube. Be sure you are following me on TikTok. I know that this TikTok is about business, or this live is about business, but I create content over on TikTok that's more home interiors and gardening. That is because I want to make sure that no matter what happens, you are good to go as a creative, because I am a creative too, and I want us all to win. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to leave a comment if you're watching the replay. Be sure to join the vault to get access at a very inexpensive price to all of the replays in one place, and any additional resources that I put out to support these replays and my personal stuff as well. And then we will be back tomorrow with part two of this conversation, where we're actually going to talk about digital products. We haven't even got to affiliate marketing yet, but we're going to talk about digital products first, and how you can create a digital product as a creator, content creator. Thank you, Greta. See you over there, friend. And help you make some money too. Okay. So that's part two. That's tomorrow. That's it for now. And I'll see you tomorrow during our live 9 o'clock stream time. Bye.